Hey, Tiff.
Hi, Brielle.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing well, but I have to tell you, I got home today
Right?
and I immediately thought of you because I had to pee so badly. I ran into the apartment and I dropped all my things. I'm like rushing to the toilet and I went down the toilet.
No,
He doesn't usually leave after me, so I know exactly the situation. Everything is where it's supposed to be. I forgot he left after me, so the toilet
you
seat was up.
felt you were in like your
I will say
booty
this.
down.
Booty didn't touch water,
Thank the good Lord.
but I had to take a shower because my legs touched the toilet bowl.
Obviously. Also,
And
your
I
legs are so long that I would have liked to have seen that, just been a fly on the wall. Holy cannoli.
it happened and I was like, damn it. And then I thought, haha, I'm down the toilet.
You're down the toilet.
Quite literally.
That's the perfect reason for this entire podcast. We're trying to not go down the toilet. That's what we're trying to do, people. Wow. Okay, two questions. How quickly did you text Tommy to yell at him?
I had to take care of everything first. And then I immediately did, obviously.
Okay, and then why isn't he trained?
Listen, I didn't really notice this was an issue because I guess I'm fixing it without realizing it.
So
I was shocked. It was that
Very-
moment where I was like, wow, wait, you didn't put the toilet seat down? And I'm like, no, it wasn't you. It wasn't you.
that is assault. That's assault, brother. Tommy, you're in big trouble. Big trouble.
The biggest
But
trouble.
I will say, similarly, when Ryan and I first met, I had a roommate and she ended up getting very weird and like it didn't end well, right? But Ryan had slept over one night when we first started dating. He left the toilet seat up and she fell in and she was so mad at him. That's how much of a bachelor he was. Like, I don't care about this girl's house or her roommate. And she never forgave him. Like, she was really,
Ever?
really mad. Yeah, well, then she got weird and like joined the Peace Corps, I think. And she never talked to me again. But so listen, boys will be boys, I guess.
Boys
Is that
will
the
be
phrase?
Boys will be boys. That's the phrase.
Yay! We're disappointed. But just picturing you with the long legs and the toilet, you brightened up my afternoon.
I aim to please.
So, welcome to Ain't Nothing But a G Thing.
This is a grief positive space where nothing is too weird, too much, or too loud.
Two friends, two dead parents, a million what the F moments, and we're here for all of it.
Because grief is weird.
And so are we. Today, we're going to start with your favorite part. So get ready. It's time for G-Thing Glossary. Our newest term, which has already been posted on Instagram for quite a few weeks, is the sponse roulette. It's a noun. It's a thing. When someone asks, how are you? Or what brings you to town? And your grief brain rolls the dice on how much to reveal. Your answers could be, I'm good. Or they could be like a polite nod, just nodding. Or vacation? No, I'm here because of death. Or actually, how have you been? My dad's dead. You really never know what you're going to get. And so response roulette is probably one of my favorites.
Yes, I'm also one of my favorites because I've experienced it so many times over the course of this process. And in that 1 millisecond, it feels like you are spinning the roulette wheel. What is going to come out? How are you feeling in that moment? Do you feel like telling the truth? Do you feel like just moving on? And me personally, I've run the gamut in terms of where the roulette wheel lands. Shortly after my mother passed, like 2 days later, I was heading down to Florida to be with my family. And I hadn't been in public since I got the call. And I was, in the Delta Lounge, my favorite place of all time because my flight was delayed. And you know what? This is the worst day ever, but I'm drinking a glass of Prosecco and I'm in my happy place. So yay. And I was kind of okay in that space. And then I heard my name and my heart just sunk to my stomach because I don't recognize this voice. Also, no one should know me here by first name. And it was a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in about a decade. And with that kind of interaction, you see someone, you're like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. But you're having the worst day of your life. And he said, he's so good to see you. And how are you? And in that moment, it felt like 10 minutes for me to decide what to say. I just blurted out, I'm good. No, I'm not. Wait, my mom just died. And he just looked at me. And at that point, I was embarrassed. And I didn't know what was happening. And he just hugged me. And he goes, damn, Brielle. He's like, what's all right? He's like, my dad died. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. The other thing about this friend is this is a friend who I think was one of the first people I knew to experience losing a sibling when we were in our early 20s. So it was just really fascinating to me that was the meetup and my response to roulette. And it was just so great to have someone who responded to my crazy response in such an amazing way.
He's like, hold my beer and watch this. I have a dead parent too. Dead Parent Club. Well, I remember you actually texted me the play-by-play in the moment, because that was also when we were in constant text chain, not stopping to be like, how are you? Or just this is happening, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And I felt that for you because people will ask me how I am. And in the entire world of my existence, I've been like, good, how are you? I'm good, how are you? And after Daddy passed, I was like, my dad's dead. And that's when you realize, nobody actually cares how you are. Nobody is genuinely how is she? It's just a polite conversation. It's a polite greeting. Yeah. And so I realized sometimes I would do the weird, oh, well, I'm not great. My dad's dead. And that makes it even more weird if it's somebody that's an acquaintance. Because also then do I open up this can of worms that then they're going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, me too.
Because once you open it up, it's very hard to close it.
Yes. And also, I didn't think of this until just now, but the responses that you get is like roulette. Some people will be like, I'm so sorry. What happened? And they're in complete shock with you, which feels very good. That's terrible. He was a great guy. Or you loved him so much. That's really horrible for you. Or I told this girl that I thought I was very close with, and she was sending love and prayers.
I mean, that's nice. It's,
No, but I'm like, why aren't you shocked? Dead to me. I'm like, you didn't even ask why or how. I thought we were more than acquaintances.
I like that. I never thought about that either.
Response roulette.
The response you get is both ways.
It's both ways.
Roulette.
When I talked to my other friend about it, because I was actually very hurt by sending you love and prayers, don't you want to know what happened? I didn't just tell you, I stubbed my toe.
Right. Right.
And my other friend was like, well, not everybody handles grief well. And not everybody knows, they're awkward and they, they don't know what to say. And I was like, I get it, but I still feel wow, what happened is a more natural response when you knew how close I was with Daddy. Right. And so that was pretty funny. But I just realized that it's both ways. Are they going to start crying and then you're going to start crying and we're all going to be crying? What they do? Cry. In the Delta Sky Lounge or literally wherever you are.
Wherever.
No biggie.
Speaking of response roulette, I never thought I would get the response I did from you. Yes. I like to refer to it as the call that changed everything. I would have bet $1 million I would have never gotten this call from you. And I said in an earlier episode, one of my favorite things about you is your self-awareness. And it's something that I'm learning more through your grieving process. And this is a prime example. You called me and we'd been talking for a couple months, it was the early days for you, but you were making it through. We were getting it done. And you called me and you said, I don't think I'm feeling my grief. And I don't think
Also,
that's good.
just as a side note, I don't remember this.
Great, even better.
So
I'm going
this
to
is
tell you
new.
what you
I'm very intrigued. Go on.
So you said to me, I don't think I'm feeling my grief. And I said, well, I think that you are because you're talking to me about it and you are asking questions and you are telling me things about how you feel and comparing and contrasting and looking for information. And you were like, yeah, except I think I have to stop drinking. And you said it, and I kind of thought, wow, this is, first of all, I was like, wait, there was nothing in the middle there. How did we get from this statement to that statement? Because I'm not in your head, even though I'm close. I'm close. And tell me more. And you said that you felt like you were numbing and you were doing it almost on purpose and it wasn't allowing you to progress. You were also very impatient about the whole grief thing in general. You did definitely come at it like, okay, so this is done, right? And I was like, hey, Tiff, it's been 2 weeks.
Why am I
No.
still crying?
I got that call a couple of times too. Why am I still crying? I was like, you're grieving. You're like, it's not over yet?
No.
Anyway, I just thought this was such an incredible place to land on your own and really just based off of your own true feelings. And I was so grateful you shared it with me. And as you started talking, there were other things you were talking about in terms of changing your life. And I said to you, Tiffini, only you could somehow, in one of the darkest points in your life, almost instead of spiraling downwards and going into a downward spiral, you are taking it and you're spiraling upwards. And it wasn't little things that you did. And again, this is very specific to your story, but I just found it absolutely incredible. And it's such a marker in my head. And I feel honored that I got to kind of witness that moment and call it out for you because it seems like you forgot or you did not know about it. You were not really here. But it's an incredible thing that you're probably functioning at the highest level in your adult life. And it came out of something that was the darkest moment of your life. Anyway, that is the creation of the upward spiral word. And it
Yes.
means
So many people have been like, can you tell more about the upward spiral? And that's exactly how it began. And I have to say, like, it might not go in order of like how it happened. So forgive me, but I was having diarrhea of the mouth. Like I was telling you every single thought I had. Well, maybe not everyone, but most of them. And I think that I said that to Ryan once. I was like, I'm not even telling you like 25% of the things that I'm thinking, like in my days. And he was like, that is crazy. But anyway, it's very scary. There's a lot going on up here. But the thing that I realized, and again, like love a little cocktail, like baby loves a drink, right? Like I love coming home, like, and on the weekend, on a Friday and being like, ooh, like, and Ryan's a really good bartender. Like, I'll be like, I want espresso teeny. He's like, please stop calling it that. I love a good cocktail. But what I was finding, and it was exacerbated obviously with Daddy, but I realized that grief and sadness was a huge trigger for me before Daddy. And I only realized that it was numbing me to the point where I realized, oh, I might actually prolong this process if I don't acknowledge this issue and take care of it so that I could grieve fully. And I think I think part of me is like, get her done, like let's get it all out. But I felt like if I just, every time I anticipated feeling like really, really, really bad, that I would have a couple drinks and I didn't want that to just keep happening and keep happening and me not acknowledging and not addressing how sad I was or how upset or how weird I felt. And so I really came to that decision when Daddy passed in April, and I think Christmas break, Steve Vicky came to visit me, and we had had like, so much fun. We were drinking, we were having a blast, and all of a sudden, I wasn't having fun anymore. And I was crying. And again, alcohol's a depressant. We all know this. But I was drinking to have fun, but then it was a very, what's the word? Like unknown transition into sadness. And then I was crying. I was sometimes crying myself to sleep. And I'm like, this is not me. And also, I don't just drink anything. I'm very specific and picky about all of my drinks. I like very good drinks. And I was at the point sometimes where I was just drinking anything that was available. Not always to excess, but to where I was crying. And
Well,
then
just enough to get you into your feels.
yes. And then I would wake up the next day and feel groggy and feel tired. And it's Saturday. I don't have to get up and do anything, but that's not a reason to not, right? You know me, like I love moving. I love walking to the farmer's market and buying a loaf of sourdough. Like, I love doing things all the time, unless we've made a plan to lay. Like, excuse me, when when I feel like that's forced upon me for my behavior the night before, I'm enraged. And that happened, I would say, like 3 times from April to December. One was Father's Day weekend.
Oof.
That was really hard. I actually had a lot of fun until I didn't. I was at a pool party with a bunch of book club girls, and I felt really good. And then again, you sort of realize like, oh, tomorrow's going to be hard. And then you are like, well, I could sleep the day away.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, but I didn't feel good sleeping the day away. Don't get me wrong, I love a good sleep the day away. You and I have done that in your bed and my bed many a time. But it's more enjoyable when you make snacks and I bake cookies and I deliver them to us and like I'm happy versus headachy, miserable, puffy from crying.
It's also much better for me when you're baking and doing
Baking the
things while
cookie.
I lay.
Funny. That's what everybody says,
It's my favorite thing about you, Tiff.
right? So that was one. Two, I there were moments where I was almost there, like accepting what happened, and then my brain was turning off going there. And I remember not fully accepting the reality. And I was a little worried about that in the compartmentalization factor. Like, I didn't want to be a different person on the weekends to be coping. And so that was another reason. And then New Year's Eve was a hard one too, because Daddy and I always spoke. It might have only been for 5 minutes. I don't always remember those conversations from my 20s, right? But we always spoke on New Year's. And Tiffany anticipating our first New Year's, right? I have my lovely husband like making the drinks and playing music, my Biggie Smalls on repeat, right? Like we're having a grand old time. And I FaceTime with Joey, my brother, love you, Jojo. And
Love you, Jojo.
I look up and like I'm crying on the FaceTime with Joey. And I look up and Ryan's just like sitting there and like waiting for me. And I'm just like, why am I not in the moment? Like, why am I crying? Well, I don't mind crying. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. But I think I was numbing and then I was crying. So it wasn't really numbing. And then I was like not present for the things that I love,
Mm-hmm.
like my husband. And so I feel like partly I'm going to be honest, like this is hard to say, but like I don't even remember what Joey and I were I remember talking to him, but I don't even remember the full conversation. And I love remembering memories. Like that's my favorite thing is like going down memory lane, right? And so there were only 3 instances of that where I felt like not present, 3 instances from April to December, but I realized I think I have to cut this out for now so that I can go back to super fun Tiffy when I'm drinking. And speaking of response roulette, Ryan was like, I don't like, he just was like, whoa, like what happened?
Like, I
You
have
were
no idea what to do.
fine.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I think that's what made me like lead to myself to the decision of this is thwarting my progress of my grief journey. No matter how long this grief journey is going to last, I'm starting to realize it's for the rest of my life, and I'm coming to terms with that. But I didn't want to do it sort of half-assed for longer. And since I've stopped drinking, like a lot of other things have gone upwards. Like a lot of other things have been better. It's easier for me to stay consistent at the gym. It's easier for me to get a good night's sleep. And it's easier for me to make better choices with my eating habits. All these things have gotten better since I've made that decision. And I don't think that's necessary always for everybody, but I did notice that that was the big change that I made to make myself feel better, an upward spiral. Now, again, like I still get headaches sometimes and I still feel very sad, but it's like I know where all these things are coming from, and it's definitely not alcohol,
Which is
right?
a great, again, you cut the question mark out.
Yes, yes,
That's amazing.
yes. And
Absolutely amazing.
I should mention that right before Daddy passed, I was having some other medical issues. After he passed, I started getting like 1 UTI a month, like not fun. I was having so many things that I think was because of stress that my body was experiencing. So then I wasn't sleeping because I was like worried. Plus, I think perimenopause, good times. Like there were so many factors that I was like, if I cut out one of them, I know this isn't because I drank too much. I know this isn't because of the 3 lemon drop martinis versus the 128 ounces of water I'm supposed to be drinking, right? And so that led me to realize I have to get my body back in check. And since then, it's been, I'm going to tell you how many days because I love this little widget I have. It shows me every day, like, look, today it's a pretty flower.
That's pretty.
But wait, I'm going to click it and you're going to see what happens. It shows me all of the days.
Ooh, it's your progress.
Uh-huh. And so
Nobody hates a checklist.
today is 261. And this is just a tracking the day app because I stopped on January 1st. So it's the 261st day of the year as well, in case you didn't know. But I think, yes, this came under the guise of like specifically Daddy, but we had a lot of loss, and we can go into that in another episode, but in a short amount of time. And I think that has been how I was coping since 2017. I was functioning, right? Like it wasn't impeding on my life, but it wasn't exactly making my life better.
Right.
Right.
Which is also a very interesting fine line because people always talk about, listen, alcohol and relationships with alcohol, it's a whole nother bucket, if you will.
Fair.
But it is a very fine line because people used to say, if alcohol starts to affect your life negatively and you can't function in life, that's when you have a problem. But you just brought up something very interesting. It wasn't that you weren't functioning, but you realized it wasn't adding anything to your life.
Yes. Yes, it wasn't serving me.
Different. Yes, it wasn't serving you.
And it also, the reason why I enjoyed it was for all the social reasons of like, oh, it's Ryan. Ryan's like making me a drink and we're sitting and like having a little cocktail together, all cute. Or I was like, you and I are going to like a really nice restaurant and look at this drink menu. Like, ooh, like we're each going to pick one. I'm going to share them. Like, to me, that's very fun. I find that to be quite enjoyable. And also, it's the social aspect of like, I don't need alcohol to have fun, but a lot of people do. And so I seem actually more normal to people when they've been drinking.
I can attest to that.
No, I realized that. I realized that like very recently when I went for drinks with the teachers, I was drinking water and the other teachers were all drinking alcohol. And they were like, I can't believe you're sober, like the way you're talking. And I was like, no, this is just me without anything. Like, I
Just
don't,
it.
it's just shot out of a cannon. I did then recognize those are my triggers when I'm sad. And it's usually about grief or I was probably just trying not to grieve. And instead, I just drank and then
Right.
I feel crappy the next day. And I'm like, oh, well, now I feel even worse. And I've eaten a family size box of mac and cheese myself. And I don't feel good. I don't,
Yeah.
and I don't want to feel that way anymore. And so obviously everything in moderation, and we are by no means experts in any of this, but I think you have to figure out what your upward spiral is like yourself. But I really just started by evaluating what was serving me and what was not serving me. And I've seen so many people on Instagram with like all the wonderful followers that we have. Like sometimes that's not a thing, but it's people. Like if people are not like the people in your life are not serving you, like as far as helping you function, not helping you be the best version of yourself, dump them,
Dump them.
dump them. And alcohol, unfortunately, like used to be woo. Like now, for now, it's not. I don't know if I'll reintroduce it. Like that's the fun part is like you really never know what Tiffany's going to do. And so we might in a year have the same conversation. You're going to be like, the call that also changed everything was when Tiffany decided to start drinking again. And now I'm off to bail her out of prison, right?
Yep.
So you
Well,
really,
let's calm down.
I know, I'm just saying, I'm going to rage. I'm going to rage and I'm going to have no tolerance. But there are so many delicious mocktails in the world now. Like, I feel so grateful because there are actual mocktails on the menu. It says mocktails, and they're spicy margarita, and they're just so delicious. And they're making my favorite hazy IPAs in non-alcoholic versions. I'm like, this is glorious. And they're also like a third of the calories. Did you hear that? They're like less than a third of the calories or more. It's glorious.
I am happy that you found an IPA because I can't imagine drinking any IPA for any reason to get drunk or not. They're disgusting.
I know, but I think for me, I recognized like what my triggers were. And then I was like, I'm in the biggest trigger of my life. And when my Della died, I fell into a pit of despair, but that was nothing. I think I've said that. Like that was nothing compared to this. I mean, not nothing, but it was so different. And also like I think I'm still grieving her. And maybe that's why. And I just feel like I wasn't fully present enough. Like, and also I'm very on with the kids, like in class. Like I'm like, boom, boom, boom. I forget all day that my dad's dead every day. So then when you come home, you're like, whoa, back to reality. Things are very weird. And then pairing that with something that's going to numb you and make you forget,
Mm-hmm.
like, was just a bad combo, a very bad
Yeah.
combo. So no more sugarcoating it. No more beer coating it? No, that's
Okay.
terrible. That's terrible.
That's terrible.
That won't be in the grief glossary.
Beer coating it?
Like sugarcoating it.
Oh no, I got what you were trying to do.
Martini coating it.
I see what you were trying to do.
I know. It's not going to work. It has to be two
Stop trying to make
syllables.
fetch happen.
Red wine? Red wine. Red wine coating it? No. No, that's
All
just
right.
that's just
It's
a
just a bad
bad,
combination.
bad combination.
Yeah.
So I think that I will eventually have a good relationship with alcohol again. But I do think I am respecting my body enough and my mind enough to say, like, not right now. And also, like, it's okay that it might not be ever, or it's okay that it does. I do reintroduce it. Like, I'm not sure, but for now, for me, it's helping me parse out all my sadness and parse out like what's going on with my body, how I'm feeling, how I'm responding to eating well, to sleeping well, like all those things.
Yeah.
So I hope that was a good explanation of the upward
Upward spiral.
spiral. Get in, loser. What is that? So then part of the upward spiral, and I think this is a perfect way to kind of wrap it up, is that I felt myself almost like I could see going the other direction. And I talked to you about this a lot. Like, I could actually envision myself spiraling down. Like, I could see maybe
Down the toilet.
down the toilet. I'm good with that's the phrase I have. If that phrase, I could see myself doing. Well, you were down the toilet this morning. So
Maybe we
literally
should call this episode Down the Toilet. Down the toilet and the call that changed everything.
down the toilet and other phrases Tiffini doesn't know. But the pull that I felt, like, I mean, this wasn't even necessarily about alcohol, but I remember having to go back to work and being like, should I take a leave of absence? Like, am I not thinking outside the box enough? Like, should I not go back to work and cry all day in my bed? Like, I think maybe that actually sounds better. And what I realized was I am the only person that can fix this. It's me. And so I was like, bitch, get up, like spiral up. Do not let yourself go. Do not. And so you have to sometimes, I'm going to use another phrase. I hope this is right. You have to sometimes pick yourself up by the bootstraps and say, not today. Like, today, you're getting up, you're going to go do your thing. And that is what I had to say to myself. I was like, you are responsible for you. Nobody else gonna come and pull you out of this bed. Right?
Yep.
So I think that was the upward spiral for me. Like, I was like, no, I could see it going way in the other direction. So I almost had to overcorrect to go up.
That is why I was shocked, because you went so far in the other direction and it came out of nowhere, which I know it didn't actually come out of nowhere. There's a lot of thought behind it. It all, there's all reasons why it makes sense for you, but you did, and you did it, and you're doing it. And I think it's amazing that you were able to identify your triggers, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. Kind of like you mentioned before, not a lot of people even understand that they're really grieving.
Yes.
You don't really have a full understanding of what's happening to you. So just like I reminded you about the call, you almost don't remember being consciously making that decision, but you did. And I think that's kind of your point and our point here, is figuring out a way to remember that. And I also think you said something important about kind of not yelling at yourself, but motivating yourself to, like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to go down this way. I still, every day, every single morning I am supposed to go to work, I still go through I don't know, I don't want to do this. And should I lay in bed? Wait, maybe I can lay in bed all day and do this. And I have a similar phrase. I think mine is much more of like a better than nothing level, which is just all you have to do is get out of bed and get in the shower. That's all I'm required to do. After that, we can deal with the next thing that you're supposed to do. And that has seemed to work. But that's like maybe level 1.
You are on your own spiraling upward journey, but I think that this for me has been a long time coming. And I'm finally willing to give it my all, but also only because I think I felt that draw to go the other direction. I did. I felt like, it's very easy to just give up. But yeah, you're right. I heard today, I was listening to something, and the woman, she was very smart, and she said, you have to have a mixture of grace and grit. You have to be able to give yourself some grace, like all you have to do is get out of bed. If you just do that and go in the shower, that's good enough. Or maybe you don't even shower. Maybe you go to work. Like I got up. No judgment here. But The grit part is you also have to try the hard things. You also have to continue to do the things that you care about. And that's where the grit comes in, because you don't always want to do those things. And you can do hard things. I'm doing hard things. You're doing hard things. We're just not super happy about it.
Yeah. Who would be happy about it?
Well, I used to be happy about like a lot more things.
Because you're a weird person.
Okay, we already established that.
Tiffini,
Raise your hand if you fell in the toilet today. There we go.
not my fault. Hashtag marriage. Anyway, but I do think that
Not for everyone.
in your very fantastical Tiffy way, also noticed something about the upward spiral when we started talking about it.
U.S. upward spiral. U.S. upward spiral. Not for United States. For us. We are helping each other. And you put it so beautifully here. Imperfectly, weirdly, and consistently. We are helping each other. And I don't think that, again, I've said this, but I don't think it's just like me and you that are special, that are like helping each other through this in a miraculous way. I think everybody has this power. I think it's everyone. And we just posted my sweet Amelia, my friend's daughter, who's like my niece. And she wrote me this beautiful little cartoon. Like, she left it on my counter when she slept over a couple weeks ago. It's just like, you're not alone.
Kids are so intuitive.
Ah. And I was like,
So
actually, I
intuitive.
didn't even cry the whole time she was here. Well, I don't know if that's true. I don't think I did. I don't remember. But it's not because I was drinking. It's because I just don't remember. We might have watched a sad movie. But anyway, it's possible to help each other upward spiral, to help each other get through this and acknowledge all the weirdness with you. It's so good.
It's so good.
Crying.
The
just
power
thinking.
of us.
The power of us. And like, I charge our listeners to think about who that is for them. Like, there's light around us, and you have to try to go towards the people that are going to help you. And
you know what? If you don't feel like you have someone who may understand what you're going through, we understand.
Yep. We
Hopefully,
get it. Exactly. Just listen to us and maybe you will laugh along because we don't know what we're doing either.
No clue.
Also, there's a day for everything. Some days there's like 4 different things. I'm like, I'll choose the cheeseburger. Whatever the day is, I'll pick the food one.
And you know what? We all get it. There's a day for everything, but like, unfortunately, it doesn't matter what day it is. It doesn't matter what people are celebrating. Like, still feeling grief.
Still grieving.
Still grieving.
Still sad. Still weird.
I actually did a funny post about that. National Bagel Day. Sad.
Today's National Bagel Day. Still sad.
Still sad.
Still crying. Now at the bottom, but now I'll just be crying over my bagel.
Yeah.
Now I just have another reason to go get a bagel.
Yep. I like bagels though. They're delicious.
Oh my God, bagels are so good.
I could
But
go
also,
for a bagel
like,
right now.
they're only good in New York. So that is how
obviously.
I am back to svelte. Because
Yeah.
I don't eat bagels.
I know.
It's
They're
lovely.
so good here. They're
They're
so
so
here.
good. They're so good.
Now I have to have one tomorrow. But okay, moving on. Moving on. So before we wrap this up, Tiff, I think we should talk about one thing that we're both grateful for, because coming from a place of gratefulness is probably one of the most effective coping mechanisms for me. I've noticed the last couple of months. And even though I kind of forget about it all the time, I've recently been reaching for it. So I want to start sharing those in our podcast. So this week, I am grateful for my job. And that's something I never thought I'd say. But at some point this week, I was going to work, which would always be tough. But I got up, got all the way to the subway station. I forgot my laptop. I had to go all the way back home, back to the subway station. At this point, I'm sweating. And I'm, I can't believe this. And then I go down. I take the escalator down into the Q station. And it's air conditioned. And in that moment, I thought, wow, you're in a really bad mood and you're sweaty and you're gross. But this job that you're going to, number one, you get to go. You get to go do a job. in an office with people. And also, you get to live where stations are air conditioned. So I'm grateful.
Grief glimmer.
Yes, little grief
That was
glimmer.
a glimmer.
It's a real tiny glimmer. We're still talking about a subway station, but
fair.
Air conditioning. So that's what I'm grateful for, is my job on this wonderful day.
Do you know I made up a song for that station?
How does it go?
Well, I didn't make up a song, but it goes, "You are so beautiful to me." No, really, it's a beautiful train station.
Can't you see?
Can't you see? And it's air conditioned and it almost doesn't smell.
Almost. Although it's been a while since you moved. Again, it's only a matter of time.
It was this summer, Brielle.
But again,
not that
I'm
long
grateful
ago.
for that station. I'm grateful for that station.
It's
So
a
it can
great
do whatever
station.
it wants.
So
It can do
you're
whatever it
actually
wants.
grateful for your job and the Q station.
I
So
have
you
two
have two
gratefuls.
today. Okay. So I have two. The first, well, do you want to hear my grateful? I didn't even think that maybe we should both share.
Of course I want to hear you're grateful.
Okay. So I write, as an FYI, I write gratefuls. I write them down every morning.
That's
first
so
thing
smart.
I
I love
do.
that.
The first thing I do when I wake up. And sometimes they're like deeper than others. But my first one is, you got me in all the feels from my sober living journey, 161 days, I think. But I'm grateful that like I just made this decision, and then also like for the people around me, obviously you, Brielle, because you're the one getting all of my like word vomit, but the endless like voice to text things, but also my amazing husband and the fact that he's buying me non-alcoholic beer, and it's just been actually not that hard to stop. So that's my first thing. And my second thing is I had the worst tooth pain of my life last week. It was a week ago today that I had emergency dental surgery.
Ah.
And Brielle and listeners, I kid you not, the absence of that pain is almost euphoric. Like it's sore and I'm still eating pudding and jello and mashed potatoes. I can't chew yet, but the absence of that pain, I am so grateful that that is over. And I am so grateful that I am one that will continue to take care of my teeth, because that was the worst ever. And so I'm grateful that that's over, and that I'm on my path to healing, and that I'm not toothless, but I'm one tooth less, and I'm feeling great.
Wait, I just have to say it. You're also not homeless, so that's good.
Real Housewives. Oh my God. Was that Beverly Hills? Yes. They're like, who is it? Homeless, not toothless? Okay. That was it was Dorit years, in case anybody wants to go back. The Dorit years, toothless, not homeless.
Not homeless.
And it was a dentist taking care of people's teeth that were homeless.
No, homeless, not toothless.
Homeless, not toothless. Oh my God. Quality.
That makes me laugh every time.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
gratefuls, I write them every day. Gratefuls are just one thing that I have in the grief toolbox. And we don't have time today, so next time we will talk more about the grief toolbox. In the meantime, until you hear us next, we would like you to tell us, what do you have in your grief toolbox? Hopefully,
we're really curious.
Hopefully now you will start some gratefuls. They're super fun. It's even more fun when you read them to your friend and then they laugh at how ridiculous you are. I didn't even write the tooth one down yet. So that'll be mine for tomorrow.
And listen, as someone, I'm someone who understands tooth pain all too well. Yes. I've had very traumatic dentist situations. So I am not laughing at your grateful as much as I am laughing at the fact that you said toothless in a certain way. That made me think of Housewives, of course.
I sure did. But I think about and tell us, please send us messages. What is in your grief toolbox? What helps you? Because I'm guessing that we all have very similar ways of helping each other. The power of us.
Love the power of us.
Now that's it for this episode of G Thing.
We'll be back with a brand new episode. And again, still unclear where we are going, but we will be back. I promise you that.
Thanks for spiraling with us and being part of our Power of Us.
Grief is very weird, but it's a lot less lonely when we're doing it together.
As always, rate, review, and share this episode with a friend if it made you laugh, cry, or even rage text your therapist.
Follow us on IG at Just a G Thing, baby, and we are now streaming on Spotify and Apple.
Whoop, whoop.
So,
We'll be back next month. Until then, stay weird, stay together, and do your best to spiral upward.
see you next time.
Bye.